The Great Siege of Gibraltar. With the American War of Independence raging, France and Spain saw an opportunity to take advantage of Britain's stretched forces. They allied themselves with the Americans and declared war on Britain. Their plan was to firstly capture Gibraltar, then invade mainland Britain. Gibraltar was so strategically important that it became an obvious target for attack, so its defences were considerably strengthened. 1770 saw the formation of the Artificer Corps, forerunners of today's Royal Engineers. These were soldier tradesmen, combat troops also skilled in the construction of defence works. In 1777, Colonel William Greene suggested further modifications to the defences, which included the construction of the King's Bastion. On the 16th of June 1779, the Spanish issued what was in effect a declaration of war against Great Britain, and a blockade immediately commenced. On the 24th of June 1779, birthday of King George III, hostilities began. The French and Spanish blockaded the port to stop supplies coming in, believing they would quickly bring the garrison to its knees. But this proved not to be the case. On the 6th of July 1779, an engagement took place between the British ships and Spanish vessels bringing supplies to the Spanish troops on shore. Several Spanish vessels were taken and the hostilities began. The combined Spanish and French fleets blockaded Gibraltar from the sea, while on the land side an enormous army constructed forts, redoubts, entrenchments, and batteries from which to attack. As the winter came, provisions for the garrison soon became scarce. Bread was almost impossible to obtain and was not permitted to be issued except to the sick and to children. Salt meat and biscuits soon became a major part of the rations, with an occasional issue of 4 ounces of rice each day. Fuel was exhausted, and fires were made only with difficulty, using the salt-encrusted timbers of old ships broken up in the harbour for the purpose. As a result, a violent outbreak of scurvy occurred among the troops, owing to the lack of vegetables and medicines. General George Augustus Elliot appealed to London for relief, but as the winter wore on, rations were reduced further. Despite this, the garrison's morale remained high, and the troops continued to take their turns at various posts of duty. They had also repulsed several small testing assaults made by the Spanish and had great faith that they would receive supplies by sea, thus enduring the cold and hunger. The Spanish were forced to commit a greater number of troops and ships to the siege, postponing the planned invasion of England and the cancellation of the Armada of 1779.